Hello friends, in this session we are going to discuss about the overloading concepts of Java. First, we will try to write the simple program so that I will be able to explain the overloading concept. We will start designing the class. This class will be having the same name as the previous two classes, class box, which has 3 instance variables. By now you should be pretty clear with the instance variables and the other members. There are basically 3 members: instance variables, methods and constructors. All the 3 things we have discussed. Please leave a comment if you have any questions on that, so that we can clear up all the things. Now I will be getting in one method called as fun, which has 3 variables. You can declare it as something like this also. Now let me assign the values to this variables w, h and d, a, b and c. Please take care of the semicolon and all. Now there is one more method. Let me bring the method here. Okay, let me there's little bit of space here, so let's finish it off here. It's a void fun of int a comma int b. If you see here, I'll be assigning value of a to w, b, value of d I'll be assigning some value as 10. There are 2 methods if you observe here. Let me bring one more method, but all the 3 methods which I am bringing in has same method name. So this particular concept is called as overloading. Whenever the method name is same but with different parameters, then that particular method is called as overloading of method. The concept is called as overloading. Not only in Java, in many of the programming languages also we say it as overloading of a method. And the method name is same but with different parameters, then it is treated as overloading. Everybody will be clear with this. But the main thing is which method will be invoked. That is also pretty clear. What I need to do is I need to create an object of this. If this is this part of the code is inside the main method, so I'll be creating a object of this. Box b is equal to new box. There is no constructor provided by me, so a default constructor would have been inserted. Now b dot fun of which method will be called 10 comma 20. The second method will be invoked. That depends upon the number of arguments. 10 and 20 are the arguments, and a and b are the parameters. A and b are the parameters which is going to receive 10 and 20 arguments. Okay, so depending upon the number of arguments, you are able to decide the second method or the first method or the third method will be invoked. So the deciding criteria for the overloaded method will be number of arguments. It's not only that, but also the order of parameters also plays a role. Now assume that there is a method which has different data types also. Instead of int a, I do have char b and int c. So right now if I try to invoke the method b dot fun of 10 comma a comma 20, which method will be invoked? It is good. Here there are 3 parameters. Here also I have 3 parameters, but there is a data type which is playing the role. Okay. Now it can so happen the order of the parameters also can vary, right? Instead of int char and int, it can be int a, int b and char c. It can be something like this also. So what I can say is the deciding criteria for the overloaded method will be number of parameters, order of parameters then data type of the parameters. Okay, so clear with this, right? But return type will not play any role in deciding criteria for the overloaded method. The reason is, irrespective of the method returns whatever it is, the deciding criteria will always remain in the depending upon the arguments itself, right? Whatever you pass, which method is going to be invoked. Okay, so now to repeat the things, overloading is a simple concept which is available in many programming languages. I'll come back to the main concept called as polymorphism, but overloading is a simple concept. When the method name is same but with different parameters, then it is treated as overloading. The deciding criteria in Java language for the overloaded method is number of parameters, order of parameters, and then data type of the parameters. The other concept is, why should I overload a method? When will you overload a method? I need to overload a method whenever the functionality of the method is same. Simply I can't overload a method. Although if it leads to confusion which method is going to be invoked, we need to figure it out and pass the arguments, but still overloading is a very good concept to maintain your code. Basically, whenever we are developing an application, we need to always check about the reusability of the code. So if the method functionality is same, that is when we need to overload the method. Now assume that I have a method something like this, void add int a int b. It's going to specify a SOP of a plus b. There is one more method called as add, which is going to add three numbers a, b, and c. SOP of a plus b plus c. There can be one more method which is going to add four numbers. Is it advisable to make it as add 1, add 2, and add 3? Makes sense, but it doesn't make sense basically. What we can do, what we need to do is, we need to give the same name so that the person who is going to maintain this application will look at it, will understand this particular method, figure out the functionality of this, comes back to this method, he will see the method name, he will see this particular method name as the method name is same as the previous method. Then he will immediately understand, okay, the functionality of the method is same but with different parameters, so he will skip and start understanding the different particular method itself altogether. So this is the basic concept of overloading. As I told you, the overloading, return type doesn't play any role because it all depends upon the number of parameters, order of parameters, and data type of the parameters. Clear with this, right? Okay, we'll see the execution of the program. I have three methods. Let me change the return type. I'll return, irrespective of whatever the method returns, this can return some string, right? I'll return null. Irrespective of the method, which method is going to be invoked will be decided by, what I need to do is, I need to first create an object, box b is equal to new box. So the default constructor would have been invoked. Then print the object always. It's always a good habit to print the object. Then b dot fun of, which method is going to be invoked right now? The last method is going to be invoked. Okay. Then if I invoke this one, b dot fun of, although I don't have the SOP statements to justify which method is going to be invoked. You can just imagine that this is going to invoke the last method, this is going to invoke the first method. Okay, irrespective of your data type, data type plays a role wherever the column method is there. Okay, but the invocation of the method happens inside this particular class itself. So data type will never play any role in deciding criteria for a overloaded method. One more major concept about the Java language. Okay, Java language is also an object-oriented programming language. Object-oriented programming language. Oops, they say. Now, object-oriented programming language gave us 4 concepts. Java borrowed all the 4 concepts. One is called as polymorphism. Polymorphism. Under polymorphism, it is categorized into 2 things. One is called as overloading. Polymorphism means basically one name, many forms. Okay, the method name is same but in different forms. Okay, that is called as polymorphism. There is one more concept of polymorphism, overriding. That we can discuss once we start discussing about the inheritance concepts. Until then, we will not be able to discuss it. Just have this knowledge of overloading is one kind of polymorphism. In the later classes, we will be discussing more about this. The concepts what we discussed right now is all the concepts are the basic concepts of overloading. But in Java 1.5, Java 5 version or 1.5 version of Java, Sun introduced something called as varas, variable arguments. Okay, in variable arguments, see now you are going to add, you have a requirement to add 2 numbers. You will be writing a method like how we wrote add method with 2 parameters, 3 parameters, 4 parameters, 5, 6, 7, 8, 9, 10, up to 10 also it's fine. If I ask you to write a method which takes 100 arguments and then add all the 100 numbers, will it be feasible? No, right? It's not a good way of designing the program. Okay, so what Java told us, okay, we have something called as variable arguments. What you can do is, now if you want to add multiple numbers, now what you can do, go ahead and do is, instead of just specify out something like this, it's not like this. Okay, so this way, this indicates there is a variable argument specified here. And how will I get the value for this? There is a, for now I have not introduced for each loop, but okay, I'll put the for loop itself. Int I is equal to 0, I less than this was what happens is this will be treated as an array. Now right now for this particular fun method, I will be able to pass n number of arguments. Just observe. It is taking, I have not specified any arguments, but it is taking n number of arguments. If I run the code, see here, it is going to print the arguments in the way I have passed out. But here one thing you need to observe is, what if I have a string variable here? I need to pass a string, first a name, string name, and then I have to pass the end. So this doesn't hold good, right? So I need to pass something like this. Okay, but if I try to interchange this, what happens? Let us observe. I will not be able to do this because variable argument are something which is not handled by the it cannot be handled by us. So what we need to, what Java told us, some people told us, if at all you are specifying the variable argument should always be in the last parameter of the method. Okay, because here we don't know, the user might pass 3 parameters, 4 parameters, but if it is in the last parameter, he can specify how much ever he wants. Okay, so this is one more way of overloading a method. This is available only after Java 5 version. We can discuss more about the variable arguments in the further coming sessions. Thank you guys. If you like this video, just have the thumbs up, and please do subscribe for the channel. Thanks a lot.